Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Clark with Justin Valentovic and Jesse Norman. This isn't the normal Department Podcast. This is the Wrestling Wrecap version. But before we get in the ring and outside the ring, fellas, how are you guys doing right now?
Good, because we have sports. NHL and the NBA are seamlessly, started up, while the MLB continues to be a cluster, So they are not long for this world, basically, at this point for that season, so that's a little depressing. But other than that, I'm fine.
Good to hear. Jesse, how are
good.
you?
The
You're
heat
good?
wave's over, so
Yeah,
I mean that's good.
It's only supposed to rain
Tuesday
for
it's supposed to be 76.
It's supposed to rain all
Supposed to
weekend,
be a hurricane, basically.
Yep.
Coming up. So
Every time they say it's gonna rain like 4 days out of the
doesn't.
week, it never rains. It doesn't rain
doesn't.
once.
no,
Never.
it doesn't. And it's
I
nice
don't-
to get some
I'm
rain.
telling you, I don't know what they've done this year, but like the weather machines and stuff that check the weather, they don't work.
They don't
Like,
work.
oh, it's
They do
gonna
ones.
be 82, and then like 2 days later, they're like, just kidding, it's 97.
Yeah, weather's been crazy though lately. Literally hot as anything. Then we're getting a hurricane, so that's just adding to 2020 in general of how crappy of a year it is. But let's get into some wrestling. We're to start outside the ring, and the biggest story of the week seems like Kairi Sane is finally leaving WWE, going back to Japan. She sent out a nice thank you tweet, and a bunch of her colleagues sent out nice things about her on social media, and they wrote her off TV basically. So good for Kairi Sane. I'm very happy for her.
No, she had a good. Well, she was with WWE, 3 years or so?
Yeah, about
Roughly.
that. The Mae Young Classic.
Mae Young Classic.
She had
came
she
about.
had a good run. It just ran its course basically, and
Yeah, and they're leaving on good terms too.
Well, that's
which
the
is
thing.
What I love to see, because a lot of wrestlers, as you know, get fed up and frustrated and leave angry. So I'm glad everything's on good terms with her.
It seems like to me, WWE is at this point much more okay with wrestlers leaving to go to Japan as opposed to other promotions.
Well, because Japan is no direct competition.
yeah. As much as people wanted to argue years ago when AJ and, Shinsuke and all them were there, even then it didn't feel like competition
Because
as much.
it's not in the States, that's why.
It's the time differences and everything works against it.
Well, that's the thing, because it'll be broadcast. If you watch it here, it's like 4 a.m. our time. While Raw and all the other WWE shows are 8 o'clock, but that's when AEW is the exact same time, so they're in the direct line of fire with each other.
I'd say TNA is even more of a competition than New Japan right now.
I would agree.
They're putting on some great wrestling right now. It's going very under the radar. Just even before all the signings they made, a lot of the guys they have are really talented. So I'm very happy for them.
Do you ever see it getting back to what it was when we started getting into TNA, the whole cross the line era?
No, not to that extent. But
I don't think they can ever reach that level of talent again with WWE getting indie guys now. Because they built so much of it around guys that are now in WWE that people thought were never gonna be in WWE.
The
Samoa
names.
Joe, AJ, all those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think you could ever replicate having that much, especially, you throw in the Motor City Machine Guns, you throw in Christopher Daniels, all those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can ever.
The names they had back then don't compare, obviously, to the top guys they have now, like Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Sting, like you said, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, all those guys. But they're starting to build new stars. Eddie Edwards is becoming their face of the company right now. So
I
that's
thought he just signed to. No, never mind. Different guy.
different guy. Okay,
Different guy.
Heath Slater's getting a title shot next week, so they're starting to build some guys. So it's not going to be to the caliber, but this might be the second best period in TNA history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, sticking with outside the ring, we touched on last week about Pat McAfee and Adam Cole's little dispute on the Pat McAfee show. But this week, Triple H was on the Pat McAfee show and invited Pat to come to NXT, which clears up all the rumors and speculation, whether this was a work or a shoot.
Yeah. WWE also posted a video of the Cole and Pat McAfee thing on their YouTube, and I believe recapped it on NXT, if I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Right. So, yeah, this was definitely...
They worked us hard.
Yeah.
A hell of a job, though. Hell of a job.
It was the F-bombs.
That's what really blurred the
got
lines.
us, yeah.
It was, so I guess Adam got permission to...
I mean, it's not crazy. They do drop, like, curse words and stuff like that, especially during, like, pay-per-views and stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me to, like, make this kind of intense.
But also, if you look at it, too, it's a Triple H run, you know, kind of promotion type of thing.
True.
Yeah. And he's a lot more in touch with reality, with, like, people curse. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
it's
literally.
it's not taboo to see a wrestler curse anymore. You know, so
True.
It
Yeah,
definitely
especially
got
if
stamp
Cole
of
was
approval.
supposed to be that mad. You know, he's not gonna call somebody, you know, something PG. He's gonna be actually,
like, if you're pissed,
angry.
you know, your filter comes off.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And especially like the Pat McAfee show, by default, it's not, you know, censored.
Yeah,
that's another thing. He, even though like Cole is a WWE star and everything like that, he was on a show that's rating was not PG.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know, does it really matter as much?
True. And another thing which had me on the edge of work and shoot was Adam Cole's a really nice guy. He does not flip out often like that. He's one of the nicest guys, humble, and he portrays the character of Adam Cole, obviously, who's a cocky heel and all that. But he's one of the nicest guys. So that was one of the things, too, that was bordering it for me. But we'll see where this goes. Hopefully, I hope it's not McAfee versus Adam Cole. I just pray it's not that.
I hope not.
Because
that's just a joke to Adam Cole then.
It'd be a horrible way for Cole to go out.
Unless, you know, they both wanted to do it, you know, unless they came to NXT with the idea of doing something like that.
The only way I think it could work is if they do full-on, like, extreme rules and Pat's just using weapons, getting hit by weapons, just all. I think that's the only way it works is if you do, like, a full-on, like, street fight.
An all-decade punter doing an elbow drop off of a ladder. That's all I need to see.
Jesus. But, yeah, no.
What's Shane Leckler doing? Let's get Shane Leckler in there.
Look at the triple threat.
You think his tag partner was supposed to be Gronk originally?
Hey, you never know. But maybe he'll be the manager of Undisputed Era. They sort of.
That'd be a good mouthpiece for him. They don't even need it though.
They don't. That's the thing. It just adds more.
As long as they don't go David Arquette and give him some form of a belt, I'm happy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What if he's in What if he's in the North American title ladder match?
God, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. That match is already stacking up to be really good, which we'll get to later in the show. But no, I don't want that. I really don't. I love McAfee, but no. Let's continue outside the ring. Vince McMahon's looking for a different site for SummerSlam. He doesn't want to be in a performance center. He's sick of having pay-per-views, especially one of his big four in the performance center. I heard he was looking in the Northeast area, looking New Jersey, New York, he wants some sort of fan capacity too.
If it's New Jersey, New York, Murphy and Cuomo are not letting that happen.
Oh, for sure not. No
chance.
But he's exploring his options because
just stick it on the roof of the, Titan Towers and let people watch it from the highway.
That's fine. But he wants people there, which is sickening in a way.
But here's the thing: if he doesn't think he can get fans in literally the epicenter of Corona, where the hell does he think he's going to get it then? Unless he goes to like the moon or Fight Island, they're not getting anything.
No, he's psycho.
Just do it on the beach, like you said, Clark, and have people watch it from the stupid boardwalk.
Just do it live on the beach. It doesn't have to be pre-taped.
Put it far enough away, like near the ocean. That way, then people on the boardwalk, they're not near it, and they can still cheer, and that's it. If he really wants to have people around them.
Yeah.
They've set up stages like the tribute to the troops was all like basically on sand and everything like that. They obviously have the capability.
Well, it's not hard. Just put down plywood, and then you build it on top of the plywood.
There you go. Exactly.
I'm trying to think if like there's any place in the Northeast that they could go.
No one would let them do it.
I don't think anybody in the Northeast would. I mean, unless they did it in their headquarters again, but
it's possible. It's very possible. But you can't, if it's on the beach, you just can't pre-record anything because spoilers are going to get out instantly.
Unless they put up like big ass curtains. Like,
but then that ruins. It's possible.
Well, here's the thing: put up the curtains around it and shoot it to where the ocean is in the background.
Yeah, no, very possible. I don't know. I like to see the beach. I don't want them to come up here. I don't want fans there.
Just stay in the performance center. It's working for the most part. You know, they had the little outbreak here and there, and a few wrestlers are MIA with suspected corona. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's been working.
Or just do it in the parking lot of the performance center if you want to have it outside. Like, just if you don't want to have it inside.
Just go to the Full Sail back lot and film it during the day and make it look like a beach setting.
Beautiful.
You know, that school's literally a production school. You're telling me they couldn't put that together?
Yeah. No, you're right.
100%. I think the problem isn't that, like, they don't have
he
options.
Wants fans.
He wants fans, and I don't think he wants them at, like, 25% capacity. He wants them higher.
He wants fans.
And that's not going to happen. That shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't.
And at this point, if you're moving SummerSlam, like, how many fans can you even get? It's 2 weeks away, and those tickets aren't cheap.
No,
SummerSlam's one of the way more expensive.
The big four are always expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking because when they had TakeOver at Brooklyn, they had this is the last year of SummerSlam at Brooklyn. I was thinking going to both, but where the equivalent of what I was saying for NXT, which is the rafters for SummerSlam, was like $80 difference.
Yeah, so I'm surprised it wasn't even more.
So if they have people like sell tickets, they're gonna get price gouged the living hell out of them too.
That was the one where Roman won the title, right? The last one in New York, I think.
Probably.
Roman and Ronda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. That was fun. That was a fun show.
I was watching from home.
Sticking on the track of SummerSlam, WWE.com, I think, even announced that the next pay-per-view after SummerSlam is the next week. Next Sunday.
That has to be a typo, right?
It's called Payback, so I don't know if it's just going to be SummerSlam rematches.
It's definitely, if it's the week after, it is definitively.
Well, here's my question:
rematches.
Is AEW having something planned that weekend also?
I don't know, but because AEW usually runs on Saturdays their pay-per-views, but I don't know.
It could be a counter-programming attempt. I don't know.
Yeah, because we know they go back and forth with that.
But even then, it's just so random to do it
a week after a huge pay-per-view. Like, I don't know. Might have been a typo, but as all the dirt sheets were saying, it's Payback that's set for the week after SummerSlam, literally the next Sunday. I don't know how you can build to a pay-per-view in a week or
after a pay-per-view.
If there's going to be a bunch of false finishes at SummerSlam, I don't know.
You need at least like a minimum of like 3 weeks usually.
At least. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Crazy. Couple little things. This isn't too big, but Excalibur, AEW commentators racist videos emerged back from PWG.
Oh, Kevin Owens was in that too.
We don't need to talk about that one. But yeah, that's what PWG was back in that era. I don't condone it at all, but they were very edgy with their content, and it was in promos. It wasn't like outside the ring. It was in promos, which doesn't make it any better, of course. But it was said, and those videos are now emerging. So I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do, because we know how Tony Khan bashed Hulk Hogan about his racist
I do think the Hogan thing is different, because like
that was
never condoning, the use of the racial slurs at all.
Yeah.
But if you are doing it for cheap heat and for, promos, it's a little bit different for a character. Hulk Hogan was real life saying, like, he thinks black people are, like, inferior to a degree, which is just absolutely astounding to hear from Hulk Hogan's mouth.
Well, it's almost like the same thing with, like, movies, how, like, you'll hear, that word in a movie where it's like, do we really need it? Probably not. And it doesn't help, and there's just no reason to have it. And that's kind of like you're saying, Jesse, too, the Hulk Hogan thing, he didn't think he was being recorded, or at least the audio wasn't, at least, of it.
Yeah.
And he was saying it with truth. But it's still, there's no place for it even in wrestling.
I agree.
Especially if it was a promo, too, that means it was preemptively, like, decided to just say it.
It's not like this was even the 80s where this thing happened. It was 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
I mean, look at when Vince did it on television.
Around that time,
that was right around that time. And around that time, they gave Kurt Angle a gimmick where he says in promo, "I'm not a fan of the black people." And then they gave Chavo Guerrero Kerwin White, which was, if it's not white, it's not right.
Well, that's like, you kind of look at where we were as a society at the same time where nothing was politically correct and making fun of basically everything and anything was accepted.
Jesse, I just hope you know those clips are getting screen capped.
And it's just like against it's and like some people point to that and are like, oh well, it wasn't as politically correct. It was better. It still shouldn't be. It still shouldn't be. It wasn't good. No, it wasn't good. Like nobody liked the Kurt Angle saying he wanted to have animal sex with Booker T's wife. Nobody thought that was good. Nobody liked Vince McMahon saying the N-word to John Cena in front of Booker T. Yeah. Like it doesn't
past when Cena was past the rapper gimmick, so it wasn't even like he was trying to
no, it was bad. I don't see this coming back on Owens and Excalibur as much. I would be surprised if anything comes of it, especially because it was like 15 years ago.
That's the thing. Lastly, outside the ring, Rusev and Lio Rush, two wrestlers formerly who worked with WWE, seem to be retiring from the ring. Rusev just got Corona a little bit ago, so
Rusev's he's also making that Twitch money too.
That's what he wants. He said he just wants to be a streamer. I'm like, good for him, honestly. Be a streamer. And Lio Rush made an appearance at some indie show, but then he said it was rumors swirling that he's back, but then he's came out in an interview saying no, I'm kind of done for now too, but we'll see what happens in the future.
I expect both will be back at some point
eventually.
Most people who just because I know people who are streamers and stuff like that, you eventually get a little bit tired of it over time. Like when you first start, it's a lot more exciting and you can stop doing it over time as it goes on. Streaming every single day is not ideal for most people, especially after like the first month or so.
But also that's kind of like what wrestlers, like people in wrestling do, is where they get into wrestling for a little bit to promote themselves to do stuff afterwards that they really want to do then.
Mm-hmm.
It's a launching pad for post-career almost. Like you see a lot of people going to like entertainment or whatever other ventures. This is just another avenue for them.
I feel like Rusev's I think Rusev still has like at least one more run in him somewhere.
Yeah.
He would be great in Impact. He would be great in AEW. Probably better in Impact.
Have you watched any of his stuff on YouTube?
His streams?
No, I haven't.
He's actually like a good storyteller, like just talking about it. Like he has some pretty good stories that are worth watching.
Really?
Yeah, they've popped up my suggestion when I'm trying to sleep at like 3 a.m. and they're just there. It's just down that YouTube rabbit hole. So eventually, like now, you see one and the algorithm just keeps feeding you like all the Twitch highlight streams.
Yeah.
I didn't think Rusev was as good as everybody kind of made him out to be, especially like when Cena beat him for the title and everybody was like, oh well, there's the end of Rusev. But I thought he was good. He wasn't. Yeah. He wasn't fantastic.
He was a solid mid-card. He was a solid mid-carder.
Yeah.
He was a solid mid-carder who probably should have gotten at least 1 to 2 runs in the main card.
The way I see it is, if R-Truth has gotten a title shot, everyone deserves a title shot then almost.
I love R-Truth.
Yeah, well, and if Miz carried the title for so long when he really was not developed in the ring, you can't tell me that Rusev doesn't deserve at least a championship promo.
If Jinder got a title run, Rusev deserves a title run.
Well, that's different. They weren't trying to go to Bulgaria.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why.
Okay. That does it for outside the ring for now. Let's jump inside the ring and start Monday on Monday Night Raw. Show starts off with our favorite best heel in the industry right now, Randy Orton, challenging Drew McIntyre to a title match at SummerSlam, even though Drew had a title match later in the show. So that kind of ruined the ending. But hey, we're getting Orton Drew.
Well, if Drew lost somehow, which we all knew he wasn't, he could have said, I'm taking my rematch clause and make it a triple threat match. That could have been the cop out if they went that route. But even then, it's like, okay, so we knew where this was going and it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. But who gets the win in this situation? and Orton and Drew. It's hard.
I'd like Drew to get the win here, just to give him at least one like pay-per-view another good pay-per-view defense. Like give him at least a big 4 defense.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can take it off of him for a little bit.
So, well, this is my thing. If they're running Orton Drew at SummerSlam, I would bet about any amount of money that they're also going to do it at Payback the next week. So,
yeah.
Does the same winner win twice?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's dicey. I would say Drew. I would think Drew wins at SummerSlam clean, and then maybe at Payback Orton cheats.
Possible.
And wins, because like if you're running Payback, you can have Orton on the cover, obviously, because Orton lost at SummerSlam. You put him on the poster and everything like that. He wins by like punting Drew or something, and then I mean, I'd imagine they would still probably run it for a little bit longer.
Probably. It'll be going into the fall. It might be the fall feud, honestly.
They'll probably milk this till Survivor Series, because then at that point you could build Randy to Rumble, where Edge, probably could come back then at that point.
Yeah. Have Randy do like another like little feud maybe with Alistair in between or something like that.
Alistair's just losing to Rollins. You can't put him in a title feud.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
he's Ray's #1 fan and protector.
I personally would love if Orton does beat Drew.
Yeah.
And I know they wouldn't do it because it wouldn't, work as the way they like to tell it. But an Orton versus Rollins heel versus heel kind of thing I think would be really good.
It'll be fun.
I think it'd be really nice.
Yeah, I'm not
especially if they need just a feud to carry into Rumble. I think Rollins would be good. I don't really know who else they could do besides Drew.
No.
Raw is very like mid-card heavy. They do not have, because also a problem with that is they had a lot of mid-card guys that Heyman wanted to make top card guys. And
didn't get the chance to.
Now they're sitting there with a bunch of Ricochets, Aleister Black, Cedric Alexander, just guys like that are just sitting. Buddy Murphy. I mean, obviously he's with Rollins, but there's all these guys that are like in that mid card. Yeah. But the top of the roster is pretty much Orton, McIntyre, Rollins, who's doing his own thing right now.
That's it.
And that is it.
Literally, no Brock around, no nothing.
Brock. You can't put Mysterio in there. I mean,
even though it's hinting that he kind of signed a contract because they're saying that he's recovering from his eye or whatever.
Yeah, if he was gone, they wouldn't be talking about him.
I don't think Mysterio would be considered a main event level guy, though.
He'll be a manager for Dominic, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
Dominic.
I can't take him seriously.
I just see him as even though I was a kid when I watched it, I still see him as a kid.
Well, that's the thing. I see the bleach blonde hair, the 5-year-old like puppy dog eyes in the corner,
jumping over the barricade,
the oversized jean pants or whatever he was wearing, like the SummerSlam shirt. Like I still see that, and the fact that like his head is too big for his neck, and his body is like built like a football player, and literally if he turns his head the wrong way, his head might like just pop off. I can't take him seriously.
No, neither can I. I bet fans, it's probably easier. But
he's just such a goober. Like the way he looks and everything. Like it's a comedy act to me.
Should get Ray's daughter in there too. Have her be the manager or something.
It'll be Ray's kid versus Rock's daughter, or it'll be Ray's daughter versus Rock's daughter at like WrestleMania 30. Jeez. No, it'd be like 65. 30.
Which one? Rock's baby daughter or Rock's?
No. The one that's training the
NXT.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, she's in NXT, which is wild too. To think another generational. What is she? 4th generation superstar technically?
Is her name would be like Pebble or something?
Wow, Jesus. Pebble.
What else you got, Clark?
We got Andrade and Angel Garza winning the #1 contenders match for the Raw Tag Team titles. So they're running back the Street Profits and Angel Garza and Andrade at SummerSlam, which I was kind of disappointed about because I wanted Ricochet and Cedric.
Didn't they do this and then they just stopped and now they're like
they lost clean the week before. They lost clean to the Street Profits the week before. So they had a triple threat this week with the Vikings, Ricochet and Cedric and Garza and Andrade in a triple threat for the number one contenders. And they won again, which makes no sense. Imagine doing a Street Profits versus Ricochet and Cedric, how good that match would be. Not saying this match is going to be bad, but...
Do you think they just have like a Wheel of Fortune almost of how to like just pick who's winning and who's like facing who at this point now?
Something's up with Zelina. I don't know what she's doing, but she's always on TV with her boys. Like, I don't know. Vince loves them for some reason. Don't know why.
But if he loves them, why doesn't he let them win anything?
They'll win at SummerSlam,
I think. Yes, I think they will. But like, just think about like how long Andrade's been on the main roster for the most part.
It started slow, but then he won the U.S. title. It did start slow.
And then nothing. Okay.
But Andrade got pushed to the moon once he got called up. He was barely in NXT or anything.
No, I agree. But what big wins besides the U.S. title has he been given? And now he's in the tag team picture.
Yeah, tag team picture was kind of a slap in the face.
Andrade and Ray's matches were incredible. They were so good. And I don't know. I just believe that story from a while ago where Andrade wanted to be pushed more and Vince told him to learn how to speak English. I think that's still pretty valid concern because I don't think Vince likes managers as much.
Yeah, and Vince, like you said, likes people who speak English more than anything.
Yeah.
I know people have improved a lot. Like Asuka's improved a lot. Nakamura's improved. Andrade's even improved a bit.
Well, that's why Cesaro was like cast away for God knows how long.
It's not even that bad. He has a slight accent. Cesaro.
He's from Switzerland.
It's not bad, his accent.
Cesaro's accent was the whole reason he never got anything.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But how did Sheamus get anything? Oh, I was talking about
he was Triple H's gym buddy.
I was talking about this last night in the Discord. Do you know how Sheamus won the title, his first title, back in 2009 or whatever?
When Cena fell through the table?
Yes.
By accident?
It was an accident.
It was an accident, yeah.
He was supposed to fall through the tables at the same time.
Yes,
I did not know that.
Now, that's why ever since they say on commentary, you have to be put through a table. You cannot fall through accidentally.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Because Sheamus did it. Well, the Sheamus Cena match happened. And Big Show also at some point
just stepped in it.
Just stepped in it, and it like broke, and it was not supposed to happen. But no, Sheamus got pushed because him and Triple H used to work out together, and him and Triple H were really tight.
And now, like when he was healthy, he was literally WWE's go-to for anything they needed a heel for.
Well, yeah, it's crazy to just like if you look back over Sheamus's resume. He has like a claim to be like a top 5 wrestler of this decade.
Yeah, he's had a good career.
It's insane to think, but then you think about like what good, like he's always good in the ring, but like what show stealing matches, like was there?
Honestly,
I think his like most noble moment was just beating Bryan in like 30 seconds or whatever.
The match he
which
had with Jeff
turned
Hardy,
everybody on him.
The match at Backlash with Jeff Hardy was really good. Like the past Backlash, like a month ago.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yes, but what about the championship reigns? What about those?
Yeah, no.
I'll say
his tag reigns were good.
I was gonna say he was really good with Cesaro.
His tag reigns were good, but continuing with Raw. We talked about McIntyre a little bit successfully. He successfully defended his title against Ziggler, and Drew got to pick the stipulation for this match, and he chose the exact same stipulation as Dolph chose for Extreme Rules, where Dolph can use all the weapons and Drew has to play by the rules. So good for Drew doing that again. That's cool. He is making him a strong champion. I have no issue with that at all.
Now, can we get Dolph as far away from the title as humanly possible? That would be much appreciated.
No, I'm down for that. Wait till 2021 next summer to get him his next title shot, just his yearly title shot. Yeah, I'm fine
what
with
if
that.
Dolph cost him against Orton,
and they just run back,
and then they run back McIntyre Ziggler so that they don't run McIntyre Orton?
No, I don't want it.
That's a way you don't do a rematch at Payback. If you do McIntyre, well, I mean it's a different type of rematch.
Yeah,
but
once they do a triple threat, triple threat. Maybe that's how they do it at SummerSlam. Dolph interferes, triple threat, at Payback. Orton pins Dolph.
I don't want
Dolph. And then they just keep pushing McIntyre Orton.
I don't want Dolph. Go away.
Do you guys think they're holding McIntyre, like, do you think he's holding on to the belt until Brock comes back?
I hope not.
Or does he drop it before?
I think he drops it to Orton sometime. I don't know about SummerSlam, but he dropped it to Orton, I think. All right, last thing with Raw, really quickly, and then we're going to take a little break before we get into NXT, AEW, and SmackDown. We have a new Raw Women's Champion. The biggest story out of Raw, Sasha Banks won the belt and completed the prophecy of Sasha and Bayley getting all the belts.
Legitimately now.
Legitimately, yeah, all the belts, even though kind of she won by count out, but the rules going into the match were that she could win by count out because it technically was like a vacant-ish championship. And Bayley attacked Kairi Sane backstage, which prompted Asuka to go out to protect Kairi, which got Asuka counted out. And boom, we have a new Raw Women's Champion just like that. I like it. I like Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah, I think this was probably one of the better ways to have Asuka lose the belt because I don't know. Some people are like, "Oh, well, what was the point of the Asuka reign?" And it's like it was good. It was
fine. She's been very entertaining lately.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And I mean, you're telling the Kairi Sane story, and Kairi Sane's leaving. I have no complaints. Done. I think it all makes sense.
Me too. Well done. And it looks like Asuka's going back to like vicious Asuka a little bit. She was a little angry.
Yeah.
When
makes sense if Kairi's gone.
Well, that's the thing. Now it's like her friend's out. She's pushed to the brink of like now she's on her own, so she's literally has to fight her way back up with no help.
Boom. Perfect. I think it's good. I have no complaints. No.
Yeah, no. But when do you think how do you think they take the belts off of them?
Probably when they implode or whatever.
Yeah, they somehow cause each other.
They drop one belt and then it causes an implosion.
Basically.
Or what they could do it in like one show where it's like they have to defend the tag titles and in the same night as both of them have to defend each belt.
I've thought that, but here's the problem. What tag teams are there?
Well, that's the issue.
Yeah, but as we're going to get to in a little bit, it seems like Nikki Cross and Alexa are splitting up. I think Billie Kay must have corona. I don't know for sure, but she's been off of TV. But Peyton Royce has been there.
Who's Ruby new friend? Who's her new friend again?
Ruby?
Is she back with?
Is she back with Liv or no? No, I don't think so.
She's had sort of like a friend with her though.
Oh, Natalia and Lana are a team, but Lana's husband and mother have corona. So that's ruining that. Who was Ruby teaming with? I don't remember.
Wasn't she with Liv for like a week?
Was she with Liv? I remember she got. I don't know. She had a win the other week. I'll look it up while we have a little bit of time left in this one really quickly. But like Ruby's been underused, so getting her involved would be kind of fine. Oh, it was Bianca. It was Bianca Belair.
That's right.
It was Bianca Belair. Wow. So that's another talent that should be at the top of the roster, at the top of the division. But that's a story for another day, honestly, because they have to use her. She's one of the most talented women of all time, honestly.
Yep.
So that's it for that. We'll be right back after this little break. All right, we're back, and we're going to jump right into the Wednesday Night Wars. We'll start off with NXT like usual. And they ran a match on NXT, Gargano versus Roderick Strong. Gargano won, but I just don't know what Gargano's going to do at TakeOver. He's won it all. He's done it all. It's just nothing left for him to do. He's just like sitting there with his new heel gimmick with nothing to do. And I feel sorry for him, honestly, because I don't see anything happening for Gargano.
But it's almost like he doesn't really – they don't want to leave NXT. Yeah, because he knows he's screwed on Raw or SmackDown, so it's like he might just be happy just chilling there. And if they just let him, like the new heel gimmick, like just let him try out weird things.
Yeah,
screw it. If he's having fun,
give him the cruiserweight title.
Oh yeah, that'd
Bless
be
you,
good.
Justin Valentovic.
I try to get as far away from the mic as possible.
Him with the cruiserweight title would be good.
Yeah, give him a shot.
Him and Tommaso are pretty much in like the same boat where
what's their standing? Are they good with each other or not? Like
they're not, because they had their match and it ended all feuds kind of between them two. But Tommaso's been off TV basically almost since then.
Well, he's been like semi-retired for like 3 years
since the Karrion Kross stuff. He's been off TV.
Yeah, and he's been mad too about it, like about creative doesn't have anything for you.
Then leave NXT.
But like you said,
they don't want to.
If he goes up, what's going to happen? Their best hope possibly is if they move up as a tag team. Which, how do you do that at this point, you know?
It'd be a cool heel DIY. I don't want them to be face.
Yes, but they kind of did. They did heel DIY. I think they did heel DIY for way too short of a time.
Well, Ciampa got hurt.
They did it. Yes.
That's why. They couldn't help that.
Yeah. But then once they brought him back.
He was face because everyone loved him.
Yeah.
So they couldn't help that either. I think a heel DIY would be fun. That might be what they actually do.
I agree, but I don't know if Gargano – like, do you tell Gargano being like the dumb baby face that trusts Ciampa again?
I don't think you can.
You can't tell that story again.
You'd almost have to do it the opposite because how, you know, they kind of screwed over Ciampa with the whole
Ciampa
cup.
Being the dumb baby face.
With the cup,
I mean,
know?
I mean, if you're not even trying to break them up, I guess you could send them up like have them be in NXT, have them be like, we're not being used, we're not appreciated enough, we've been here since the start, this is built off of our backs and everything.
Yeah.
Have them run through the tag team division and then pretty quickly just move them up. Yeah. And then have them go to the main roster.
Yeah, the tag team division needs them. It's horrible, the NXT tag team division. It's god awful.
It's the worst out of all three.
It's the worst in like any company. Like AEW is insane.
And that's what they prided themselves on for like the first like 4 or 5 major years was how deep the tag division was.
Yeah, it was deep with Aiden English, Simon Gotch, Buddy Murphy, and what's his face? The other guy, Blake and Murphy.
Blake, yeah.
AOP, DIY, the Revival. It was stacked. Their tag division was stacked.
Well, and now look at all those guys. Like, look at the list. I mean, they're either not in the company anymore, or they split them up, or AOP sadly just gets hurt all the time.
Yeah, the American Alpha, another one right there, who got split up.
Yeah, and you can't even point to the Jason Jordan injury because they were broken up before that.
Split up before that, exactly. But next week they're running. Speaking of tag team divisions, they're running Imperium versus a full strength Undisputed Era. They're back to full strength. They returned this week. Kyle O'Reilly finally returned. I don't know what he was doing, honestly. I haven't read up on that. But
that's another interesting thing, too, is like if they are going to pull up Undisputed Era at any point, like soon, what is left in the tag division?
Nothing.
I mean, I think that's pretty much like the only thing you have left is the Undisputed Era.
Undisputed, Imperium, El Hijo del Fantasma, that group. I love that group. Santos Escobar and his guys.
But are they ready to take over a division and carry it?
Well, Santos is the Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
But I think having them with all the belts would be interesting. But otherwise, there's not – they're trying to build Everrise, which is the Canadian tag team. But they lost this week to Imperium, I think it was. But
it's like if they put the belts on them, that's almost the same thing of what they're doing where, you know, how Bailey and Sasha have all the belts on them. So if you put the Cruiserweight belt and then the tag belts on them, that's almost the same thing.
I think you bring tag teams down. Bring Ricochet and Cedric down. Bring them down. They could thrive perfectly.
It's no longer, you know, the minor leagues. It's clearly the third show when they jumped to USA, albeit to fill a contract, you know, obligation, but still – you know, they still went to live TV, and right now the arenas are virtually the same, so there's no difference. Just the color of the lights around the ring.
If anything, it's better than what they're putting on the main shows. But
I mean, another one. It's usually been better for a while.
True.
I mean, no, they're hurting for tag teams.
And Breezango's is there. They don't do much.
They're there just to have
Breezango was so good. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Breezango was so good. Especially that the first year of SmackDown when they were doing like the what was
Fashion Files?
The Fashion Files.
Yeah, really good stuff.
God.
That was fantastic.
That was so good.
Good, it's good stuff. I mean, they're kind of getting back to that form almost a little bit here, but I wouldn't mind them getting the tag team titles either, honestly. Just something new. Because I love Undisputed, but I don't want them to win again. And what are they going to do? Like you said, if they get called up, can't be doing that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think they will because they're running the Imperium feud right now, it seems anyway. But I really think you should move up Undisputed Era again, like in this Drew Orton feud.
That's War Games right there. Thinking now.
Undisputed. How far away is War Games?
That's usually Survivor Series. Takeover. Like
I thought they were going to do Imperium Undisputed Era last War Games.
They're going to run it this one.
But here's the problem. Say we're still in, locked in with Corona. How are you going to do War Games in the PC or Full Sail? That would have to be almost outside then.
Yeah. And Walter's also stuck.
Yeah.
Outside the U.S.
Walter's stuck. Yeah, because everybody else is stuck out there too. Dunn is,
Dunn, Bate. Yeah, you're right. They're all. Is Alexander Wolf? Is he stuck out there?
I'm not positive.
Because he hasn't been. It's just been Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner for Imperium that's been around.
Yeah.
But with NXT, let's see. Cross basically saying he's the number one contender, carrying Cross to the NXT title, but William Regal said you have to earn that. So I guess we're getting a number one contenders match coming up soon.
It's going to happen.
Probably to be, I don't know.
But I don't
want Dijak again?
I would think Dijak.
Yeah. I hope they don't take the belt off of Keith Lee though. It's too soon.
That's another rough one. It's like the Orton McIntyre situation in a way.
It's too soon almost.
It is.
They can't do Cross and Cole and just have Cross eat Cole.
Because then that kills Cole's momentum.
Because then
of anything.
what did you do with Cole? You just built Cross, but Cross already destroyed Ciampa.
I like Cross, but I don't want him in a title match. I like Cross a lot, but having him in a title match
I think
early.
One takeover match and then you're that quickly being put into the title. He hasn't even gone for the North American or anything.
That's the thing.
They should
NXT,
just put him. There's a steady progression.
Yeah, I would want them to rather put him in the ladder match and have him win it that way, and just give him and just run roughshot through the mid card for a while, and put him in maybe like the Rumble time in the main event scene for NXT.
Yeah, let him
give Keith Lee some sort of a run though.
There's so much people that he can have matches with in NXT. It's just.
Unless the plan is give him the NXT belt, get him up and out as soon as possible, But if that's the case, then why do you put him on NXT?
Keith Lee, too. Vince might want Keith Lee.
This is the problem with the Lee versus Cross thing is if you pull Lee up to the main roster, you have another face. Keith Lee's not a heel. If you pull Cross up, you have a heel.
That's a heel.
I mean, I think Cross has been doing this a while. You don't need him to sit in NXT for a long time. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't even really need the belt.
Yeah.
You could have him just destroy. If he destroyed Tommaso last TakeOver, that you could have ran a him versus Johnny Gargano thing, and then maybe eventually him versus Balor.
Yeah.
And then move him up. He's then beaten Tommaso, he's beaten Gargano, he's beaten Balor, the pretty much three staples of NXT, and then he moves up.
I have a bad feeling it's going to be like the Owens-Zayn match. Owens' first title run in NXT when Owens just destroyed Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn couldn't continue. I have a feeling it's going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. It makes Keith kind of look strong because he didn't get pinned or tap out.
They got the little crap beat out of him.
That's what's going to happen. He's going to get the crap beat out of him. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to rerun. They're going to go back to that finish.
Well, and a little bit of a problem here too is Cross looks like he's jacked, to the max, obviously.
Yeah, in good shape.
But he doesn't look that big next to Keith Lee.
He's smaller-ish, on the smaller side.
He's smaller than Lee.
Yeah.
So how can you can't have him just throw around and destroy Keith Lee it makes sense if he destroys Tommaso. It makes sense if he destroys Gargano. Yeah. It makes sense if, to a degree, he throws around Balor. But he can't just dominate and throw around Keith Lee.
Big Keith Lee. Yeah, no, I agree. All right. Lastly on NXT, we saw the second person advance into the ladder match at TakeOver 30, and that's Dexter Lumis.
This is a guy I think they're building up a lot.
Wow.
Him with the belt would be so interesting.
It would be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Because you can almost run into scenarios where people almost wouldn't want to face him for the belt because of how bizarre he is.
Yeah, he's just odd. It's a great character. He portrays it really well. But Balor was in this match, and Thatcher. I'm surprised Balor didn't win, if I'm being honest. I thought Balor was.
They're doing an interesting thing with these matches because, like, in the last one, like, Gargano was in it.
And strong.
And you're like, oh, okay. Like, they have two, like, established talents and then, like, one a little bit more unestablished and having the unestablished guy win.
They're putting all three of people who, like, are legitimate, like, factors to win to be put in, but you don't really know who.
Yeah.
Now, do you see them eventually maybe doing like a best of the rest, like the people who fell short in the initial qualifiers, putting them in for the other ones to get them in the match ultimately?
For the last spot, yeah. I see like a battle royal or something they'll do. Like everyone who lost, or like a gauntlet match. Just like the last chance match. Yeah.
So one thing I've thought about with the North American title, and I don't know if I want them to do this, but it's an idea, how Impact has the X Division Championship. And they have the rule where you can vacate the title.
Oh, to cash in
for a title shot at the, the NXT, or well, in that one, the Impact Championship.
Yeah.
But I think that could be an interesting idea.
Is that still relevant in TNA?
I believe so.
Is it? Cool.
I know they originally like put it in to really get like Austin Aries over.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So.
And then they did it with Spud and Kurt Angle.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be good. I don't know. I think there should be like a rule though on it where like you're the NXT North American champion for like 3 months and then you can like get a title
or
shot
maybe
if you
get like a defense out of it, then you can vacate it.
Something like that.
Something like that I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because like the North American title is a very good belt.
Yeah.
But it also clearly is like a stepping stone for the most part.
For sure.
To the other championship.
For sure. I like the North American belt too. It's one of my favorites actually.
It's one of the best they have in the company.
The look of it, the feel of it, very prestigious it feels just because
it's definitely the best mid card belt. That either anybody in the only one I think in all of wrestling.
The only one that could rival it, I think, is the new US title.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the TNT title is hot garbage.
Well, speaking of TNT title, let's jump right into AEW. Cody said that title's coming. It's getting finished. He finally said it.
Why debut a belt if it's not done yet? Well, here's the thing. It was probably done, and that was the initial design.
And people hated it.
Because it looks too much like the Raw Tag Team belt.
Literally. And the Raw that's not a good one to make.
No, exactly. That's not a good rep.
Like, it's bad.
I saw mock-ups on, like, Twitter, I guess, where they just put, like, gold accents on it, and it saves it a lot better.
It does. It's just too late in a way now.
I think it's so interesting that in this day and age, like, there are still, like, bad belts.
Yeah.
Like, people know what good belts, for the most part, look like.
Yeah.
And we still have bad belts.
We still have the tag titles.
The tag titles have been bad since they changed them in like 2000 what, like 8, 9?
When they
made
them the bronze, when they made them the penny belts,
yeah.
The tag titles looked great before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the SmackDown tag team title belts were actually my favorite looking belts like in the company.
Well, they had to get rid of them because that's when they wanted to they merged everything.
They merged it. Yes. So and they took the red ones, they took the blue ones, and they made pennies.
Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead.
Belts, if they have a splash of color on it, it makes a world of difference.
Oh, so good.
The Intercontinental belt, it's a nice design. Make the globe in the middle pop with some blue, and then it's completely different.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like I said, the U.S. title's nice. We like that.
Yeah, the U.S. title's clean.
All right, so AEW, like I said, Cody, new belt coming. He successfully defended his title again this week against Warhorse. So he continues to I don't want to say bury the indies, but he's giving them a shot in a way. I don't know.
He's getting himself over.
The one I was talking about earlier, he fought Eddie Kingston, is it? A couple weeks ago?
Yes, the week before, I think.
He signed with AEW.
Oh, he signed, really?
He signed, yes. That's when you said Eddie earlier. I was like, oh, he signed. But no, it was different. Yeah, he signed with AEW, I believe. I think they announced it on their Twitter page. At least that's where I saw it.
Good, I'm glad. But then Cody gets attacked after his match, and we get the debut of Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder in All Elite Wrestling, and I am so happy to see him there, looking yoked as ever from Strong Island instead of Long Island now. Oh, love to see it. Love to see it. And they're having a tag team match. I don't remember who attacked him. Was it Butcher and Blade? I don't remember. Was it Butcher and Blade?
I believe it was Butcher and Blade.
Are those the lumberjack-looking people?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'll look it up really quickly because I just don't remember.
Came to the aid of Arn Anderson.
Yeah, but Cardona saved Cody, and they're teaming up together next week.
This was expected, that they were going to do something together right off the bat.
It was, but I want Cardona to turn on Cody really badly.
Get the TNT belt from him?
Get the TNT belt from him.
Yeah, no, he needs to.
I think that would be fun. Not just because I'm a Zack Ryder fan like crazy, but I think that would be the one person who could take the title off of Cody, the one who knows him best.
So can Cody go for the world championship again now? Now that Jericho isn't the champ?
Technically, no, I don't think. That stipulation was that
he can never go for the belt again.
I think they're going to have a match in the future, though, where they can undo that or something.
Yeah. Like, I'm fine with them putting that rule in eventually, but they did it literally right off the drop.
They did it from the beginning.
It was the Dark Order who attacked Cody.
Oh, it was. Gotcha.
Like, if this company is supposed to be as long around as they want it to be, why would you take the guy? I understand, like, he did it so people can't be like, oh, he's just putting the belt on himself. But don't go to that plan right off the drop. You know?
So it says on Bleacher Report, Cody can never again challenge for the title.
Because now they're running into the problem where if he can't put himself or they can't write him into the main picture scene in the main event, he's going to be ripping apart mid-card people because he has nothing else to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So this reminds me of when in Impact, towards the end of his tenure, they had a match with AJ, and I believe it was Bully Ray. Mm-hmm. And AJ lost, and he couldn't fight for the title for a year.
Yeah.
I think that stipulation is much better
instead of never.
Never. Well, especially because Cody and Jericho wasn't that that was only their first or second match.
Mm.
I don't think after the second match you can be you can never fight for this title again.
Yeah, no, it was really early in the history of AEW. And it just I know people will complain about Cody, winning the title once it happens. They're already complaining about him winning the mid-card title right now. But they have to eventually put it on him.
Yeah.
All right, a couple last things in AEW. It's just stuff they're announcing for next week, basically. Jericho and Orange Cassidy, that being a debate next week.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's going to be fun. And the rumor going around, pause it or fast forward a couple seconds if you don't want to hear this rumor, is Eric Bischoff is going to be the moderator of the debate.
Why not?
Yeah,
makes sense. Sure,
it's going to be funny because Jericho's just going to be talking like crazy, and Orange
Cassidy's
chilling.
Not.
Yeah, he's just going to be chilling there. So that's fun. It's fun. I like it. Even though people like AEW because it's more wrestling oriented, they're finally getting fun.
The Jericho Orange Cassidy stuff is good.
It's good. It's fun.
Jericho can be a great comedy wrestler, but still be serious at the same time.
He can do it all.
Yeah,
literally do it all.
No, Jericho is so good. For anybody who's the first thing they hear about Jericho is he's old. It's you're clearly not watching because he's so good. He's I've said this before. I think this is the most I've ever liked Jericho or appreciated necessarily what he's done.
Yeah. I like the Festival of Friendship stuff.
The Festival of Friendship stuff was very good. I think it ended a little sour.
It did.
The U.S. belt and Goldberg.
But the list of Jericho was genius.
The list of Jericho was great too, which was him. That was all him.
Literally all him.
The scarves and all that. That was all great.
Yeah, and lastly, MJF, who cut an amazing promo on Dynamite this week, challenged Moxley to a State of the Industry address. Huh?
What?
I don't know. It's kind of the same thing to me. The debate in this, it kind of sounds similar.
So, it's a play on the State of the Nation address.
Yeah.
But the State of the Nation isn't a debate. It's the president talking about the state of the country.
State of the country.
So I don't know how MJF is going to have a state. Is he asking Moxley to come down and talk about how good AEW is?
Probably.
And then MJF's going to be like, it's not good.
It's not good because I'm not the champ. Something like that. Predictable like that. That's it for the Wednesday Night Wars. Let's jump quickly into SmackDown, which was last night. Styles retained his Intercontinental Championship against Grand Metalik in a pretty good match. Good to see Grand Metalik get a shot. It was different. No complaints here.
You think we'll get a title match, IC title for someone at SummerSlam, you think?
It'll be for somebody. I'm still not sure.
It's not going to be Riddle or Corbin.
I was going to say it might be Gable.
Yeah, because Gable just turned.
If you cannot call him Shorty G
Chad
when he's heel. Corbin's gonna take the name away because Corbin gave
him the name. You're right.
Corbin gave him the name, so Corbin's gonna knight him and deem him like Chad Gable again.
I don't even want him to be Chad Gable. I just want him to be Chad.
Chad. No, it'll just be Gable.
This name just pisses me off. The name Chad.
Chad.
It's like a frat boy.
It's a frat boy name.
Cocky frat boy. Like I think that'd be perfect though for a little heel gimmick. Just Chad.
I don't think I've ever known a Chad.
Oh my God! You know what would be great?
Tell me,
Since Corbin retired Kurt Angle, I would love if he's like, I knight you, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Jr.
Because Gable already does Angle's moves. And then Angle comes back and he's like, look.
The true illegitimate son of Kurt Angle.
Look, Chad Gable, you can't take my name. And then he just beats him up.
No, Kurt Angle versus Chad Gable for the name.
Yes.
Copyrighting.
What if we keep the name?
The trademark.
Give it to me. That'd be a good match. That'd be a fun match.
Yeah. Because Gable could carry him. That would be fantastic.
Suplexes.
Please, Baron Corbin. WWE, watch this and please name Chad Gable Kurt Angle.
I just want Chad Gable to be in a suit, though. I think he'd look funny in a suit with Corbin as the king, like being like his little sort of like assistant or jester. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. I'm with it. I'm happy for Chad Gable finally getting to do something. Lastly, there's nothing really happened too much on SmackDown. Same old stuff. But the ending was Bayley retaining her SmackDown. A lot of title matches this week. Holy.
They've been doing a lot of title matches on free TV.
Fine.
Yeah. They got to get viewers some way. They got to
get the ratings up, yeah.
Yeah, because the ratings have been dropping. Even the SmackDown ones last night dropped, apparently.
Yep.
They're ratings schmatings. I don't care about ratings.
It's almost like the ratings obviously are going to peak because of quarantine. But almost at the same time, it could be almost quarantine fatigue, where it's like all you've been doing is watching it. So it's almost like I need a break from it. Because I've found myself doing that with like YouTube and Netflix and everything, where I'm like, I've been watching just mass amounts of everything where I just need a break from something.
Yeah.
It could just be fatigue.
And especially with WWE being the really only sport on for a good like 2-3 months.
Since March. From March till now.
Yeah.
But lastly, like I said, Bayley retained her SmackDown Women's title against Nikki Cross. Nikki seemed a little pissed off that she lost again to Bayley 2 times within the last month. So Alexa tries to console her, pushes Alexa away, leaves the arena basically, and out comes the Fiend to give Alexa the mandible claw. And phenomenal acting by Alexa, in my opinion. I thought that was really well done. Where do you guys see this going from here? I see Sister Abigail coming.
Or it could be a way to draw out Braun.
I think it's the.
Or is Nikki going to be Sister Abigail?
Because that's the.
No, I don't think they do Nikki.
And it messes with Alexa's head now, too. You're messing with Braun and Alexa now.
Well, that's the thing. And then almost Nikki and Bray kind of team up, and then you get kind of a mixed-matched type of feud.
Yeah. I think that's very possible.
But the attack on Bliss is definitely leading towards drawing out Braun for SummerSlam.
It is.
For the Fiend.
It's fun to speculate a little. I think it's more for Braun, too. but it's fun to speculate what they could do with this if they actually ran with this idea of one of the two women there being Sister Abigail.
Because when they had Bliss pop up as Sister Abigail in the swamp match, you knew they were going to now go back to the well of when they were together as a tag team. You know, that they were going to use Bliss as a sign of weakness in Braun to get to him easier. Like, that was going to happen, and now this is clearly the beginning of that.
The one thing that I just really don't want is Fiend attacks Alexa. Alexa's off TV for 3 months. I think that's easily the worst thing they could do here.
I can see Alexa being off until SummerSlam, honestly. I can see that. I can see that.
I think the best case scenario, I think I really have my doubts about the Sister Abigail thing because that was a thing that Bray came up with.
Yeah. That
I don't think WWE was ever really fully behind. That they never wanted to name a Sister Abigail. At one point, Sister Abigail was going to be Bray in women's clothing.
I would have still loved to see that. Just
when he fought Finn Balor.
That's literally some literally psycho of how Norman Bates dresses up as his mother. That's literally that.
Yeah, but also it would have looked really bad
and probably in poor taste.
Yes.
Yeah. No, because Finn was coming out in the pumpkin demon for that too.
Yeah. So that I think the best thing I would do is you do Braun Fiend at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Maybe for a brief second, Braun gets the upper hand, and then Alexa comes out, distracts him, doesn't even have to give him a low blow, just distracts him for a second, and Fiend hits him with the mandible claw and chokes him out.
Yeah, something like that.
It's interesting. I'll see. We have to just wait and see what they do with the Nikki, Alexa, kind of Bray. Braun
I definitely think though all four will be intertwined to some capacity.
Somehow,
if one of them is not, it's gonna be Nikki, and I think she's just gonna be sitting on the outside.
If anyone, yeah.
Other point. SmackDown no longer has any other women tag teams to fight Bayley or Banks. None. Bliss and Cross were the only one.
Yeah, literally. The women's division is very bad there. Naomi and Lacey faced each other for the 100th time last night. Give Naomi a chance.
Just wait. They're going to make Naomi and Lacey a tag team now. Because they've just fought so many times that they're just going to start putting them together.
Or they'll probably be a pre-show match for SummerSlam too.
No, Vince is going to be like, Oreo, you guys, Oreo.
Oh, my God. That wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. All right, that's it for this week in wrestling. We're going to get one hot take in before we finish up this episode. So this hot take comes from _injustice. Our friend Justice from William Patterson University said, Scott Steiner better than Triple H.
Ooh.
Well, it's the arrow, he said,
greater
than arrow, to triple. Scott Steiner over Triple H. I don't agree.
No,
I don't agree.
I think
to what capacity? Because you look at anything for Triple H, there's everything he does compared to Scott Steiner is so much better.
Better person than Scott Steiner in general.
He's a human being.
Oh well, he's a better person, but I think Steiner was also given a really bad hand when he did come to WWE.
Yes,
they debuted him just to feed him to Triple H.
That, of course.
Steiner was one of the casualties of the Reign of Terror.
But even the Steiner Bros, I think I'd rather have Evolution over the Steiner Bros. If you're comparing DX.
Well, that's a 4-person group.
Or DX then. 6DX, I'd rather have than the Steiner Bros. It's just, if you're comparing teams then, it's just Triple H is everything better, in my opinion, than Scott Steiner.
The problem with Triple H that, comes up is how much of Triple H was Triple H and how much of Triple H was the booking and the being married to the boss's daughter.
Of course, that's always something you can bring up.
Because, Reign of Terror... come on. If you give anybody that kind of run and that many championships and that many main events, who's gonna fail?
Yeah, true.
Don't get me wrong. I think Triple H. Well, Roman hasn't failed. He's got a very big following in the children aspect. Same thing with Cena.
Yeah.
Cena had a very big kid aspect to him. So, but no, there is points in time, especially if you look from like, I would say from 03 to like 07, 08, before Super Cena really kicks in. Triple H was just
as bad.
Dominating. I would say worse.
Yeah.
He was just dominating the entire landscape of WWE.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's hard to compare, honestly. I honestly don't see an argument, a valid 100% argument to be on the side of Scott Steiner. I just don't see that.
If you can maybe make an in-ring argument, but as far as Mike goes, Triple H destroys him.
Outside the ring.
Outside the ring, Triple H also destroys him.
I'll give Triple H inside the ring too, honestly. Physique I'll give to Steiner, but we know why he has that physique.
Steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's never been quiet about that.
No, but I give this one to Triple H. Triple H over Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
No argument for me there. All right, that was fun, guys. That was a lot of fun. I had fun with this episode. Any last words before we sign off?
No. Hope there's a Smackdown tag team eventually.
I hope there's baseball. That's my last words. I hope baseball gets back to normal.
Yeah, they're on the way out.
They're on the way out. So thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Department Podcast. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at the Department P1. Follow us on Instagram at _Department_podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube, but YouTube is not the only place where we're posting this podcast. We're now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and mainly all your favorite podcast apps. So please subscribe to there. We're also on TikTok now. I started a TikTok, so we don't know how long TikTok's going to last. It might be getting shut down by Trump.
By the time this is up, it could be already gone.
It could be shut down, but you can follow us on TikTok. Just search the Department Podcast. That'll come up. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.